Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Can you give me your take on Trevor Harris signing in Sask? Because the fans believe Grey Cup bound. Is it going to be that easy for them and Trevor Harris?
It's not going to be that easy, but I think Trevor Harris is exactly what the Roughriders needed. He is a veteran leader who knows what it's like to be in a market that loves their football, and I say that because the Ottawa Redblacks really are tapped into that team and they show out from a crowd perspective. It's obviously not to the extent of people putting watermelons on their helmet and the way that Riderville follows that team across the country, but it's somewhat similar. So he has experience to that end. I definitely think he'll help on the field, and he'll be a great guy to have for first-year offensive coordinator Kelly Jeffrey, installing that scheme and help out the offensive line with that quick release that he has. I still think Harris has a number of prime years in front of him. A photo a couple of years ago of him in Edmonton, he was flashing a six-pack, and this dude is cut up. Don't let that loose jersey fool anybody out there, okay? He is in the gym working. He's done ballet to work on some of his footwork and all of that kind of thing. So this guy's ready. I think it's a great match with Saskatchewan, but he's going to have to gel really quickly with that unit there. I think he can do it because he's done it in the past, but to expect a Grey Cup is a lot of pressure from a quarterback coming into any situation in year one.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Anyways, regarding our jersey pull, Bruno says, hey, Rod and crew, Winnipeg all the way. I can't. What am I missing here? Like, I love me some double blue. That's almost Argos blue there, but it ain't the LA Kings. Well, we're surprised. Yes, Clark and I both surprised Winnipeg got this far. Out of all the jerseys.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the RP Show. It is your favorite sports talk show, daytime sports talk here on Game Plus Television Network. We're live across all 10 Canadian provinces and 31 U.S. states. We're also on the radio in Metro Atlanta, WQEE. Shout out Ryan O'Radio up on the board down there. And we're live streaming on YouTube for those that is their thing. It's a very busy day here live from Ballers Rec Room. That's where we're at. I'm ringing the breaking news bell. We don't have any breaking news other than to say for a second straight day, Darren Moose DuPont is not with us. He's at the Canada Winter Games in Prince Edward Island. So we've got evolving and rotating co-hosts for the next several weeks. And I thank producer Clark for lining that up. So I will tell you in terms of guests joining us on video today, the newest quarterback of the Montreal Alouettes, Cody Fajardo, is going to be with us today. The voice of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Josh Getzoff, is going to be with us. And joining us live here, our Director of Officiating and Global Television alum, Taylor Shire. And joining us right now, right off the hop, before we get into the quick six, is Dan Rashovich, Hall of Fame linebacker, Saskatchewan Roughriders, Toronto Argonauts, Ottawa Roughriders. And I thought you played with Calgary for a while, Raz, but I guess not.
Cup of coffee, 2 weeks.
Okay, it's not in your Wikipedia, so we got to get that fixed. But
we got to get it fixed.
Actually, no, you had a literal cup of coffee with the Oakland Raiders.
Cup of coffee there, too.
Yeah, how long?
A cup of coffee with the Alouettes.
With the Alouettes? Okay, well, the one with the Raiders is the one that we might spend more time talking about today. He's a pro football legend. And Randy Ambrosi, Raz has a message for you. Right, Raz? That's about that thing we were talking about earlier.
Well, all-time special teams?
Yeah. Just sit on it.
How about
Just sit on it. Whoa. Right. And we'll get to it. But first, can you please, Director Jordan, hit the quick six? Thank you. And we do have a live studio audience here at Ballers Rec Room, but that's Raz's friends. Other than that, we're on television and radio. So we're going to start with NHL leftovers. I'm not necessarily going to ask Raz's NHL opinion, although you are from Toronto. What was the high school you said you went to?
Runnymede Collegiate.
Is it still running?
Still Runnymede Collegiate.
All right. And I've never known you to be a Leafs fan. Do you have a hockey team?
I've always been a Montreal fan.
Okay, that's fine. As long as you're cheering for somebody. How about you, Ken? Who do you like? The Edmonton Oilers. Okay.
Yeah.
So these teams played last night, but we'll start in Tempe, Arizona. Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller scored in the shootout, and Imperial Sask's Connor Ingram stopped 47 shots for his first career shutout as the Arizona Coyotes blanked the Tampa Bay Lightning 1-0 in Mullet Arena. In Vancouver, Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad each had 2 goals and a helper as New York got a 6th straight win, 6-4 Rangers over the Canucks. In Minnesota, Dennis Malgin scored for the 2nd consecutive night, and Nathan McKinnon got his 5th goal in 5 games since the All-Star break. Colorado beat Minnie 3-2. Ken's Oilers last night fell 5-4 to Detroit. In extra time, Pius Suter scored the deciding goal in the 5th round of the shootout to lead Detroit to its 4th win in a row, 5-4 over the Oilers. We have our NHL top 5 and bottom 5 coming up later on in today's show, probably when Taylor Shire joins us. Jack Campbell stopped 19 shots for the loss for them. For the Leafs, William Nylander had a goal and 2 assists. Ilya Samsonov made 27 saves, and Toronto beat Chicago 5-2. And lastly, Anaheim, Tage Thompson scored his 36th goal of the season. Casey Middlestad had the go-ahead goal late in the 3rd period, and Buffalo snapped a 4-game losing streak, spanking Anaheim 7-3. So you'll hear some of these teams' names coming up later in our NHL Top 5, Bottom 5 for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. We're a little out of order here because we had a special guest, and he's a longtime friend, and he brought me a gift, by the way. How about that, Clark? Can you hit that? What's the story on this? I know that the radio listeners can't see it. It's a camo Saskatchewan Roughriders hat. It looks like it's straight out of Bass Pro Shop.
Courtesy of Larry Mueller.
Okay. Thank you, Larry.
Former assistant GM.
Right. Of the Grey Cup champion. I can't wait to be wearing this thing. I've always wanted... A guy needs more camo in his closet.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Especially when you're in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because you never know when you might have to go hunting. But, Raz, 2 things. And this is all in... Every day I do quick 6 show topics. I'm kind of move them around. And we might get to some NBA stuff later because he's a big fan of Luka Doncic because you're from the same country or...
Well, not same country, but close.
Area?
Same area.
You are what?
My dad's from Montenegro, and my mom actually came from Germany, so they came here in the late 50s.
And Doncic is from
Slovenia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not totally the same, but it's similar.
We're like cousins.
Well, there's a couple things, and we're going to get to all the player movement in the Canadian Football League. Today is day 3 of free agency, and we've got the newest Alouette quarterback coming up here, Cody Fajardo, 2 segments from now. I'm seeing grumbling from fans, and I get it, about the players moving too much. For instance, Greg Ellingson, the Florida international product out of Tampa, signed with his 3rd team in 3 years. Montreal this year, last year was Winnipeg, the year before that Edmonton, and I think the year before that Ottawa. I think it's 4 teams in 4 years. I want to get your take on that. People are saying, why buy a jersey anymore? Because it's going to be obsolete in a year. That's the one thing. But the biggest thing I want to get for you, with you, Raz, comes out of Kansas City. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes and all-pro tight end Travis Kelce promised thousands of fans celebrating the Chiefs Super Bowl championship that the team will be back for more. During a boisterous rally at downtown's Union Station after the parade, Mahomes and Kelce joked about experts who predicted the just-concluded NFL season would be a rebuilding year for the Chiefs. But they won the Super Bowl 38-35. Kelce noted that some haters predicted the Chiefs wouldn't even make the playoffs. That was their motivation, but Patrick Mahomes was seen chugging a beer. He was clearly buckled on the stage when he spoke. He had his ski goggles go sideways, and I see NFL media saying it's terrible. He should be a role model. Young kids are watching this. Now, I have my take on that, but what's yours? What do you think about Patrick Mahomes drinking too much at the Super Bowl parade? What do you think?
What do I think? I don't... You know what? When you win, you need sometimes you celebrate. And I know there's a time and place and how maybe you conduct yourself, but you know what? This is a one-time. You won a championship, and hey, you know what? You're under this microscope all the time, and I guess you know what? I guess the cameras are on them at that time, and hey, I think I'm okay with it.
Yeah, well,
I'll be honest with you.
Of course,
I'm okay with it.
Now, you and I never necessarily held up as role models per se. Maybe, we are now, But we've done things like diving into a pool at a high school reunion, you know?
Yes.
Disrobing, having fun.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Who are we to cast aspersions on anybody is what I'm saying. And by the way, from the viewers already writing in, Raz, in Edmonton, the guy's name is High Explosive. He said, Rod has too many teeth to wear that hat. How about that? Duck Dynasty.
I like it.
John in Winnipeg. John Ohm says it's the circulating CFL, circulating football league with the players moving around. So anyways, I wanted to bring that up, that you and I've had our fun.
Yeah.
So you can see why we would say there's nothing wrong with what Patrick Mahomes did. But I'm going to go a little further. And I apologize that I didn't tee you up on this because I could see that you needed to think about it for a second. But I also knew what your answer was going to be.
Of course.
I've known you for almost 40 years.
Yep.
Kids, for the kids that are watching, here's the message you get. If you work really hard and you accomplish something like winning a championship, and it doesn't have to be on the football field, it can just be in life. There's wins in life. You can celebrate it.
Exactly.
That's what you just said.
Exactly. You know, I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes throughout his career, through the season, and I mean, he's stellar. You know, but there's times when you win a championship and you've worked that hard and with your teammates, and there's time to celebrate too.
Exactly.
There's a
and
time
that was
to celebrate. Exactly.
And it was safe. I mean, Bo watching writes, and he says he's not driving. He was keeping it fun and was safe. So what's to say enjoying yourself for a hard job done right? Jennifer from the Four Seasons, she's watching. She says, I'm sorry, but these guys conduct themselves 364 days out of the year.
Exactly.
So they win a championship and they get one day to celebrate. Mind your business, she says. But again, this was NFL media calling out Patrick Mahomes, and I wonder if they were just grandstanding. Guys who, quite frankly, never won a damn thing in their life as it is. They wouldn't even know what it feels like to be what Patrick Mahomes was doing. Remember Tom Brady? I laughed so hard a couple of years ago. They had to help him off the boat.
Yes. That was great. It was great.
Like, as if Patrick Mahomes was the first guy to ever chug a beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's the thing. You say you win, you can celebrate. I say the further message is you worked for something and you've won championships.
Yep.
It ain't easy, right?
It doesn't happen often. Even how many championships does anybody win, even in their life? Whether it's when you're a child, when you're a kid in high school or university, you know, it's hard to win a championship at any level.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So,
but I'm not saying, you know, like kids should be drinking beer. Hey, you know, save it for when you're an adult.
That's not what we're saying.
It's not what we're saying.
I don't know who this guy is.
Get an ice cream cone.
This guy, I believe he's in Edmonton. You got to tell me where you're from, bro. High Explosive is the name. He's new to our audience. He goes, hell, I had 10 pints on Sunday and I didn't even play. John in Vancouver watching. He says, I'm watching on the Game Plus network, channel 924 on TELUS. Looking good, lads. Thank you, John. Available all across Alberta and BC on TELUS, channel 924. Appreciate you for tuning in. Rashovich always looks good. 62 years of age.
Just got a haircut.
Always makes you look younger.
That's right.
By the way, it's 11:11 Central. I'm just pointing that out. I don't know if you're into numerology or not, Raz, but it's a good sign.
Only if it's 13.
It's Daryl from Sherwood Park is the guy's name, and he's coming up with a lot of zingers today. I like it. Trevor in Winnipeg watching says Chris Streveler in the fur coat. Just giving her. Remember that one, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
Yeah, that was pretty
Forever we'll remember that.
Yeah. How about that old lineman in Ottawa on the sidelines?
In the game?
In the game.
Are you advocating that?
No.
Okay.
But it was a one-off, and you know what? I think the game was over, too.
No, it was in the middle of the game, Raz. They just scored a touchdown.
Okay.
So, that's a wonderful morph. We'll go back to the CFL off that. I knew that we were going to have a lot of laughs with Raz down here. Good work, Clark, bringing him in. But for the U.S. viewers, we got a lot of CFL fans that watch in the States. This was in the middle of a game in Ottawa. Their center, John Gott. I can't remember if he caught the touchdown pass on some sort of weird thing or just he was celebrating in the end zone. Whatever. Some fan hands him a beer.
It could have been his girlfriend. Maybe.
Does it matter?
Okay.
He took the beer and chugged it. in the middle of the game, and he got fined.
Yeah. That was.
It does not help the league's image in terms of being a beer league, which it clearly is not a beer league. That didn't help. But the league has, for whatever reason, had a credibility issue for a long time. And with these players switching teams like they are, how do you feel that?
I guess for me, like, I look at my career. I played 16 years. Early in my career, I was drafted by Ottawa. Well, I was drafted 3 times in the CFL.
You must have been good.
College draft, equalization draft, dispersal draft.
Right.
Yeah, 3 times. But you know what? After a while, a guy gets tired of moving around, and and I end up playing 13 years with the Riders. And you know what? I don't know. Personally, I think it's great to play in one place and become part of something.
Here's the years. Runnymede High School.
Runnymede.
And then Simon Fraser University, where you roomed with Jacques Getzoff.
Yep, my roommate, Jacques. That's right.
Okay, 1984 with the Ottawa Roughriders, 1985-86 with the Toronto Argonauts, and then 87 to 99. That's 13 glorious seasons.
Yep.
With the Saskatchewan Roughriders, winning a Grey Cup in 1989, going to the Grey Cup in 1997, where you lost to Pinball's Argos.
Yep.
So you've moved around, but you're not like Greg Ellingson, 4 teams in 4 years.
Yeah.
And the players, they've wanted that. They've bargained for that. They want 1-year contracts. I guess what I'm asking you is, did the fans have a right to be upset?
Yeah, I think so. You know what? Like you said, you know what? You get a jersey 1 year here, and next year the player's over here and over here, and it's just nice to get some consistency with a team and get to know a player, you know what? And plus you can build some, I guess, consistency with a quarterback even, it's...
Well, we have 2 minutes in this segment, and I don't know if you can wrap your thoughts up in 2 minutes. Raz has been on all my shows for years here, and one of the last times you were on, we were just throwing bouquets at the feet of Cody Fajardo.
Yeah.
He was the mayor of Kingstown. Now what? That turned fast.
Real fast. I know.
And how do we feel about that?
Well, I think it could have been handled differently. You know what? I definitely could have been handled differently, I think, for Cody. Even for that last game, you know what? You should have, personally, I think they were playing Calgary here. Was it Calgary, that one game? Anyways, it was towards the end of the season.
Yeah,
and I think should have played him. And if he was struggling, then put the other quarterback in. Fines. I think it was fines,
Mason
right?
Fine.
Yeah, and then put him in after the fact. And that way maybe you could have kept a relationship with Cody, and maybe he could have been here this year still again, right? Because again, I've been thinking about it too. Fine, we got Trevor Harris here. He's a good quarterback, different style quarterback. But I was thinking, you know what? We had a good running game last year, but we just didn't seem to utilize it and work it with Cody. And we didn't, you know what? And that's going to be a key thing, I think, with Harris here, is working that running game with him.
We're going to pause. Thank you for that. We'll look ahead to all of the CFL things, more on Patrick Mahomes. I knew that people would want to talk about that, and a lot of other things. Cody Fajardo on the way today. Our director of officiating, Taylor Shire. Josh Getzoff, the voice of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We got a lot going on today. We're live on Game Plus Television. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out. We're live streaming on YouTube and on the radio. 99.1 FM, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad. Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show. Official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models, GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as the RP Show continues live on Game Plus Television. Thanks for joining us. One thing I've noticed about this stint back here in the rectangle, the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, as I like to call it, there are a lot of people watching on television here. A lot on Game Plus, and I appreciate that for sure, but also on the radio. That's what's new, Raz, since I saw you, was going to the radio in Metro Atlanta, Noonan, Georgia, WQE.
Wow.
The big football fans down there. And
Big fans.
they can't, well, they really love the CFL coverage. It's amazing. They can't get enough of it, so that's cool.
That is cool. So you're seeing that down there, hey,
Oh, yeah.
that the CFL is popular, hey?
Well, as I've said on the air almost every day, as I've been told, half the CFL lives in Atlanta in the off season.
Well,
Right?
Be nice to get
current players, ex-players.
Be great to get some contracts.
Yeah, well, that too. And we're talking about Patrick Mahomes and the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City. Everything, I don't know what, it's a competition in life now. Everything's got to be bigger and better and more over the top. And I've got friends in Kansas City that are sending me pictures. And thank you, Curtis, for doing so. But he's like, they leave the house at 7 in the morning for this parade. They don't get home till after supper. And again, they're completely buckled for that. And it's how long you need to be gone for a parade. You know what I mean? But 500,000 people, they say.
Wow. That's awesome.
Do you know what I'm saying? It is
That's
awesome.
awesome,
It is.
man.
But the starting
It's awesome.
quarterback, chugging a beer and can barely talk, and he's getting criticized for chugging that beer on television and it's sending a bad message to kids. And I think we just got to tune those people out.
Yeah, I think so, too.
That say that. Phil,
I agree.
Phil from our audience says, really, after he battled hard and especially with a nagging right angle, wins the Super Bowl, he earned his right to party. I agree. I absolutely agree. I got to mention one big thing here. And today is our Stanley Cup final of our jersey bracket challenge. We've had a bracket for these retro reverse jerseys in the National Hockey League, and we've got it down to these two teams representing their conferences. Our daily polls for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Capital has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies and the state of California. Clark, you have the graphic correct. The final two teams are the Los Angeles Kings and the Buffalo Sabres. Nice. They're both beautiful. This is what our audience has voted for. Today's the final day. The LA Kings against the Buffalo Sabres. I've said from day one, LA's my jersey. I got to buy one of those things. I like the Sabres, but I love the Kings. They got my vote. How about you, Raz?
I kind of like the Kings. I like that purple. I think that's purple, isn't it?
It is purple, yeah. Yeah. How's your eyes, Raz?
It's small, man.
Small screen in front of him, yeah. So you got 24 hours to vote, and it's just a fun jersey bracket in our daily poll. I don't know what we're going to vote on tomorrow, but it's been fun going through this bracket. John in Winnipeg watching on Game Plus says, Dan Rashovich wore the same number 74 as well as one of my favorite Roughriders receivers, Chris DeFrance. You can't defend DeFrance, he says. So, hey, I've mentioned we're going to have a lot of hockey later on with Taylor Shire and Josh Getzoff. Cody Fajardo coming up. What were you going to say?
Fairholm said Fairholm even said, because I used to have to cover Fairholm in practice quite a bit. We played a lot of cover two. And even Fairholm goes, damn.
You can cover.
He goes, I couldn't believe you could run with me. I mean, up 20 yards.
And he's a cocky guy.
Oh, big time. That's coming from Fairholm.
He's a very fast guy.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite Rough Rider ever, Jeff Fairholm. No offense, Raz,
no.
But he is. And on the jersey thing, for the fans that are upset about their jerseys are obsolete now because the players keep changing teams every year. I totally get it. I've heard this argument forever. But I also say James Neal in the NHL played for 4 teams in 4 years. Josh Donaldson, Blue Jays, Twins, Yankees. Like, it's on us. So I say buy retro. I got a Fairholm Rider jersey. I got an orange 99 Gretzky jersey that I was wearing around the concourse at Rogers Place, and these fans are like, that's not era-specific. Gretzky never wore an orange one. And I'm like, how about you mind your business? I'll wear whatever I want. I got it specially made. Just dumb. But
Crazy.
You have the message for Randy Ambrosie, so let's get to it. How about the special teams?
Oh,
who else are you going to tell or present your case to?
I don't know, maybe CFL historian?
No,
or somebody?
It's the commissioner of the Canadian Football League needs to make a ruling on this.
Or not even, it's more like a record should have some context, right? That's all.
This is a good one, folks. I would not allow Raz the time if I didn't, A, love you, and B, think you do have a tremendous argument, but he brings it up to me every time I see him, and I'm like, I can't do anything about it.
No, but
the commissioner probably can do something about it, so over to you.
Well, hey, I guess, like I said, if you're going to talk, say, greatest of all time, and no disrespect to Iraqi.
So Mike Miller, is it Jason Iraqi or who's
Well, it was, but now it's Mike Miller. Hey, no disrespect. I mean, but like Van Stone asked me, he goes, could anybody have more special teams tackles, kind of like a Mike Tasker? I go, well, I played the second most defensive games in CFL history. The only person that played more is Mike O'Shea. And not only that, I played defense plus special teams. And if you even took an average of what I did later in my career, just average that over the games. If you took an average.
I need to pause. The argument is this.
Sure.
They started counting special teams tackles in the Canadian Football League in 1991.
91.
But Raz started playing in 1984.
Yeah.
So they ended up, the first guy to set the record was Jason Iraqi, and whatever it was, it's been in the last 20 years, and then of the BC Lions, and then Mike Miller of the Blue Bombers has set that record.
Yeah.
But you'd have had the record.
Easily.
Shoot, you're on the top 10 list as it is.
Van Stone said the numbers would be Gretzky-like. Those were his words. Gretzky-like. And if you even took an average, which would be low, because typically as a special teams player, your numbers are high at the beginning. But if you even just took an average of what I did later in my career.
What would you average a year? 15?
It'd be 20.
20?
Yeah. Average 20, right? So, you know what?
Add it up. There's another 90, whatever. I'm bad at math.
It'd be close to 300.
Wow.
it'd be over 300 if we probably had the real number.
Have you applied to Randy Ambrosie? Have you written
We've
him a
chatted.
letter?
You know what? We in passing, we've sort of chatted here and there, so yeah, I put it. But you know what? It's kind of like even the announcers in the CFL. Like, you know what? Like, you should have some knowledge of a bit of history of the game. It wasn't like I played like when the dinosaurs played, for example, right? I mean, there's announcers who were announcing CFL games who played when I played. And like I was telling you, like, I mean, there's some anecdotal, like, I mean...
lots, of course. Suter, Dunnigan, you name
exactly,
it.
Right?
By the way, I see the people checking in. Kevin the Medium, he's a medium. You know the Long Island medium? Kevin the Medium, he's like a psychic. He's watching in Airdrie. We got Dan Rashovich with us, 16 seasons in the Canadian Football League, Argos, Ottawa Roughriders, Sask Roughriders, and we're talking about his pursuit of the all-time special teams record in the CFL, which I don't think he's going to win. I've told him that a million times, but it keeps you up at night.
Well,
I feel like it keeps you up at night.
A little less now, but you know what? When you hear about 2 years ago when I heard greatest of all time, it'd be like, you know what? It'd be like Deacon Jones. They don't have record of not one of his sacks. Well, but people know.
They just know that.
They just know, right? It'd be the same as like when I was just telling you, like, an MVP magazine in 1980 and 1985. The guy you don't want to meet, a dark alley-related field, was picked by coaches, TV analysts, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they're not saying that if you're getting 20 tackles a year on, say, special teams, right?
Yeah.
And then in 87, again, 4 years and whatever, yeah.
By the way,
I hear you.
Here's a good one from Daryl in Edmonton. He says, I have a Taylor Hall Oilers jersey for sale. Right? We're not telling you not to buy jerseys. I'm telling you to buy jerseys, but put a retro number on it. Now, for me in the Florida Panthers, I don't know what the heck I would put on it. Beret? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I get it. Certainly in the CFL, but we can't have you not buying jerseys. By the way, the cup of coffee that you had with the Oakland Raiders. Yeah. We've had the discussion on shows before, but not specifically in front of this audience or on this show. What was going on in Oakland? What was the scene?
LA. It was LA.
LA Raiders.
El Segundo. I went down with Chris Woods.
Was it the best time of your life?
It was really cool. You know what? Tom Flores was the head coach, and I'll never forget it. Sitting in the amphitheater, showing the video of the excellence of the LA Raiders.
They were just coming out of the era.
Exactly.
Right?
And Tom Flores, if there's something was important, he would say it 3 times. I mean, it's kind of like I'll never forget that, hey? And then,
what do you mean, like bus leaves at 9 or wrap up or
things that were important, anything, like even, I can't remember specifically what it was, I mean, that was a long time ago, 1987, but I just remember him pointing out, if he said something 3 times, that was really important. And then just
great way to live by. Yeah.
Like Al Davis, you know what?
How was that? Give me an Al Davis story.
Well, Al Davis, I mean, he was standing in the middle of the field in El Segundo, dressed in white with his scarf with the tassels. I could you picture them just...
Did he need a scarf, or was it a hot summer
No, it was a hot day, man, but this scarf was hanging, hey? And then he got up on this lift at center field and was watching practice up above. And I still remember the linebacker coach smoking a cigarette on the field and going, okay, guys, this is a warm-up. Slow down, as he's sucking on his cigarette, hey?
And you're like, where am I?
I was like, because then I took that to rider training camp once, hey? Because, like when you go to practice, everybody wants to give her a warm-up. Well, warm-up's warm-up. So I kind of had fun one training camp. We had a guest American linebacker coach. Instead of going between the bags, I stepped on top of all the bags. Well,
making an impression.
The coach lost his mind, eh? And all the guys were just laughing, and I just was saying, "Hey, man, this is a warm-up." I said, it's not a big deal. Like, we'll be ready to go when real practice starts, right?"
16 years you lasted, so you're doing something right. People love talking about a variety of things. One is ticket prices, and the other is sports jerseys and memorabilia. People are writing in on that. Jen from the Four Seasons says, she goes, I got my coffee and Tikkanen on jerseys. Do you have any, other than your own, do you have another player's jersey? Any sport, prize possession?
I got, not prize, but I got a McManus jersey.
Danny McManus?
Danny McManus jersey.
Was it given to you?
Yeah, I think it was a silent auction or something. So I still have that one. Yeah.
Okay.
I still have that one.
Rich in Edmonton says, I met Al Davis tailgating in Oakland. That was one trippy cat. But they won. You can be nuts if you win. Then you're eccentric.
Yeah.
But if you're nuts and you lose, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Big difference. Raz, we're out of time.
That fast? Are you kidding me?
Yes. Thank you for the gift.
Oh, my God.
Thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. Hall of Famer, linebacker Dan Rashovich, the CFL's all-time special tackles leader. If I say it, does that sound...
I think that'll
work?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the truth.
You're welcome to stick around.
Oh, you will stick around.
Please do.
100%.
On the way, Josh Getzoff, the voice of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Our director of officiating, Taylor Shire, is going to be here at Ballers Rec Room. And coming up next, the newest quarterback of the Montreal Alouettes, Cody Fajardo. You're watching and listening live on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
All right, welcome back to the RP Show, everybody. We've got some wonderful topics on the go today, as we always do. We've been talking about the CFL player carousel. Is it too much? What do you do with your jerseys you've bought? Rick is watching in Martinsville. He says Velcro nameplates. That might be one way to go about it. And so that's morphed into what's your most prized jersey that you have, whether it be your own, a family member, your hero. Let us know, 902-518-3033 or on YouTube. Speaking of heroes, he very quickly became one of mine. Cody Fajardo, the newest quarterback of the Montreal Alouettes, joining us today. We'll find out where he is. He's got the little man with him. Luca, is this his first interview, Cody?
It is, yeah. It's right in his wake window. So hopefully he's not a hellion for us today. So happy to be on the show.
So far, so good. He seems fine. Hey, Cody, let's start there. Do you have a prized jersey somewhere tucked away, whether it be in Brea, California, or Reno, or some jersey that you're just so proud of that you got?
I do not. Growing up, I had a Brett Favre jersey, but it was a kid's jersey, so I've grown out of that a long time ago. And just having my own jersey, I have a couple shadow boxes in my basement of all the places I've played. So that's, kind of unique and different, but they're expensive. I'll tell you firsthand, they're expensive, and fans commit to it. It's an investment, and it's unfortunate when players like myself move on, because I know that there is a handful of Fajardo jerseys out there. And so it's tough, because what do you do next with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, what I've loved is the huge deal the Alouettes have made out of your signing, the social media stuff and all that. They seem about as happy to have you as you are to be there. And first of all, is it a relief to know where you're going to be playing football this year?
Absolutely. And that's what I think we struck a deal pretty quickly in the open window. And that's what I felt talking with Danny Mac and just getting him and feeling his excitement for me. And what really sold me was, he said, you know what, you had a down year last year, but I can't base your play off of 1 year. You have a lot of body of work. I've watched every single one of your reps. You're a great quarterback in this league, and I believe in you. And that right there sold me on it. And so I'm excited. I know that they're excited. Man, their social media team is one of the top in the league. Some of the stuff they're coming out with is absolutely amazing. So I'm trying to speak some French, learning some French. I put something out there. They put something out there today of my first French sentence. And so it's been a lot of fun. Change can bring on a lot of success. It can also be a pretty nerve-wracking, but I think a fresh start for me and my family is what's needed.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. And I saw the clip, by the way. I graduated high school as bilingual. I haven't used it as much since, but if you need any tips, just ask. From the audience, Kirk writes in. He says, thank you, Cody Fajardo, for everything you gave to Rider Nation. From John in Winnipeg, he says, Cody, bless you, bro. Wishing you tons of success in Montreal. From Jeff Gordon in Regina, good luck in Montreal. Still going to boo you when you play against the Riders. You're used to that, right? That's the fun part of it. What are your thoughts on playing for Montreal? Did you immediately scan the roster, who you're going to be playing with, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, well, first off, I want to say the Rider fans have been tremendous through this transition. I posted something the night before free agency, and just the outpour of support that I got from people that were just excited for me and my family and just loved me and my family. And they truly treated us like royalty. So it's something I'll never forget. This guy's born there, so he'll be Saskatchewan in his heart and in our heart for the rest of our lives. But in terms of Montreal, I've already connected with a lot of our teammates. I've reached out to a lot of the teammates, tried to recruit some teammates as well. I think what Danny Mac and Coach Moss are doing over there with the circumstances that they've had, they're putting together a really good football team that has me excited. I've reached out, like I said, to a handful of guys who I know are very excited to be playing football with me, and I'll be excited to be teammates of theirs. So there's just a lot of positivity. The thing that I really like is it's going to be a new ownership, new head coach, new franchise quarterback. So there's a lot of new and a lot of optimism. And so to keep that going, we got to win some football games early, get the crowd out, and because I know that place is a very tough place to play when the fans pack it and make it difficult.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. You leading that offense on the field in Montreal, I've never gone into Sask as the visitor, but in Montreal, it's a hornet's nest. I think it would feel good to have that on your side, finally, right? Because they can be loud in there when it's jammed.
Absolutely, and I know firsthand playing there, been in some dogfights over there, and it's always been very difficult. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Running out of the cage, I think will be a lot of fun, and releasing the birds and letting them go. The only unfortunate thing is there is no game in Regina this year, and I looked at the schedule after signing in Montreal, and was sad to see that I won't be going there. But maybe a year off before we go back over there is much needed.
Well, the CFL needs to get back to that. And you've been in the CFL long enough. You know that old schedule. You play everybody at home and away once. Oh, man, Luke is fitting right in. Does he have anything to say? What does he feel about the old man signing in Montreal?
I put on this shirt on him. I don't know if you can read it, but it says Daddy's #1 draft pick. So, he just wants to see me play football, I feel like. And I personally, I want to play long enough where he understands that Dad had a job and what Dad's job was. And so I'm excited to get him his little Owls jersey and have him be a part of this organization and be a part of all the fun.
I could go on for hours. Oh, man, we've only got a couple minutes left here. John in Vancouver, he says, bon chance. Rod will pronounce it well. Yes, good luck, says John in Vancouver. And he says, I'm a BC Lions fan, but always grateful for Cody's play and passion in this league. Well in. Did you talk to any other teams, Cody? Can I ask you, or was it right to Montreal? You got down to business.
No, absolutely. I had the first day of the open window, I had 6 teams call my agent. So there was a lot of teams interested. Some circumstances were different than others. Some wanted me as a veteran backup. But what I will say is it came down to Toronto and Montreal, obviously two given the best opportunity to compete for a starting job, obviously not get the starting job, but just compete for it. They didn't really know what was going on with McLeod, but Montreal and we worked fast, and I felt like it was the place to be, and I prayed on it. You know me, I'm a religious guy, and all signs kept pointing to Montreal. And so just took the leap of faith, and I'm excited. The fans, the outpouring support from the fans as well, from the Owls fans, has been truly incredible. And so we feel loved already. And my wife and I, we can't wait to get up there and interact with everybody.
Just a couple last questions. John in Winnipeg says, August 24th, Montreal at Winnipeg. I will be there cheering for Montreal and Cody. From Craig Smith, our director of scouting, he says, how's Cody's health? I know he played injured last year. You probably get that a lot. How you feeling?
100%. No knee brace going to be needed next year, which is great. I've had this issue before. My junior year in college, I had the same injury. I had to slap a knee brace on for the rest of the year. But my senior year, I didn't have to wear a knee brace. So extremely excited about that and being back to 100% healthy and being able to use my legs. That's something that was very difficult for me last year, something I leaned so heavily on. So I'm excited that I can kind of get back to myself and have that confidence in my legs again, because I feel like that's when I play my best football.
Any spike ball in the offseason in your training regime this year?
No, we have been, we joined a kickball league, my wife and I and a couple of our friends and their couples. And so we take it pretty serious, and it's been a lot of fun. It's nice to connect with all your friends once a week and just have something scheduled. So, kickball's been a lot of fun for us and the family and our friends.
All right, good for you. And, hey, I got to ask you, at Christmas, were you at Virginia Beach? Because I was on the way to Richmond. I was thinking of swinging by and saying, hey, do you spend part of your off-season there? What's in Virginia Beach?
Yeah, so my wife's sister is in Virginia Beach. She's just moved out there, so it was her first year there with her boyfriend. He's in the Navy, and so we got to go out there, and she never got to meet Luca yet, and so she was excited to meet Luca. So that was our first time out there. It was crazy. The one weekend we were there, it was probably the coldest it's ever been, so we didn't really get to enjoy the beach as much, but it seems like an awesome place where you can get around on a bike and pretty much do whatever you want. So it seems very outdoorsy and a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, hey, you won't be going in the summertime for some time, but I saw you at the Wolfpack basketball games, they made a big deal out of that. I'm glad everything's going so great, and this is just the latest. Cody, Alouettes fans here now. Keep it rolling, and I appreciate the time today.
Always happy to be on the show. Thank you very much, and we are excited for another opportunity to play football. That's all you can ask for.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Les Alouettes, bon chance. Cody Fajardo joining us today, number 7 of the Montreal Alouettes. We'll be right back with Audience Takeover, Sports Update. It is the RP Show on Game Plus TV, which, by the way, we're available all across Quebec on Videotron, Rogers Cable, Eastlink. Call your cable provider for details, but if you're watching right now, that means you probably already have. We're also live streaming on YouTube and on your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now back to the studio with Rod.
Today has just been going fantastically. Not surprised. Live from Baller's Rec Room, And it is viewer takeover time, but ahead of your comments, and we got some great ones here. A sports update. Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred says Oakland A's owner John Fisher has focused on Las Vegas of late as a new home for the franchise. Manfred, speaking Wednesday at baseball's Cactus League Media Day in Arizona, isn't closing the door on the team remaining in Oakland, however. Manfred told reporters they need a new stadium. I think that's kind of beyond debate. The A's have played at the Coliseum since 1968, and their lease expires after the 2024 season. After withdrawing plans for ballparks in Fremont and San Jose, the team announced in November 2018 it had found a waterfront location for a new ballpark at Howard Terminal, close to the Jack London Square neighborhood, if you know Oakland. But that deal has fallen apart. In the Western Hockey League Wednesday night in Winnipeg, Matthew Savoy had a goal and an assist as the Winnipeg Ice scored all 5 of their goals in the second period en route to a 5-3 win over Swift Current. In Spokane, Berkeley Catton had 2 goals and an assist to lead the Spokane Chiefs to a 6-2 win over Portland. In Lethbridge, Brian Thompson earned a 36-save shutty as the Hurricanes downed the struggling Calgary Hitmen 3-0. The Hitmen have lost 10 in a row. And in Kelowna, Andrew Crystal scored 4 goals to fuel the Kelowna Rockets' 5-2 win over the Everett Silvertips. This sports update is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In theaters now, Avatar: The Way of Water. Set more than a decade after the events of the first film, Avatar: The Way of Water begins to tell the story of the Sully family. Avatar: The Way of Water in theaters now, your local Landmark Cinema. So here's the thing. We're a little off schedule today, and that's fine. We do it from time to time, i.e. off script. We just got a couple of main topics, and one is with the carousel of players in the Canadian Football League, fans are complaining that and saying, why would I buy a jersey? The player's only going to be here a year. How could you argue with that? You can't. And somehow that morphed to, what's your favorite jersey in your closet? Do you have one of your all-time sports hero? Dave is watching on Game Plus TV in Winnipeg, and he says, I have a San Francisco Jerry Rice and an original with tags Gretzky Edmonton jersey. Have a great day. Thank you, Dave. And, oh, I'm sorry, he's in Niagara Falls, Ontario. From Elliot Wagner, he says, hey, Rod, with the XFL starting up this weekend, I was curious what team you'll be supporting. I can fully say I haven't spent a second thinking about it. Guess I should, eh? I'll let you know before Saturday. How about that? From Jim, writing the 902 line regarding our interview with Cody Fajardo, he says, good morning, RP Nation. Wishing you God's best, Cody. Thanks for being a good man. Great show, crew. Last minute of play in hour 1. Richard from Edmonton writes in, he says, I'm glad Jason Moz is gone. He was still using sideways Ricky Ray playbook. Plus, he should have called his plays from the booth. Well, whatever. Time to stop complaining. He's gone. Coming up next hour, we're going to take a look. Well, we're going to go probably full-on hockey. You good with that, Shire? Yeah. Thumbs up. Flames home to Detroit tonight. The Oilers losing last night. So I say, Flames home to the Wings tonight. Wings winning in Edmonton last night. We'll get to our NHL top 5, bottom 5. All kinds of stuff coming down the pipe. After this brief pause on Game Plus and WQEE, your southern home of sports and talk, 99.1 FM, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Anyways, regarding our jersey pull, Bruno says, "Hey, Rod and crew, Winnipeg all the way." I can't. What am I missing here? Like, I love me some double blue. That's almost Argos blue there, but it ain't the LA Kings. Well, we're surprised. Yes, Clark and I both surprised Winnipeg got this far. Out of all the jerseys,
this is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. It is episode number 940, if you can believe. Where's the time gone? Of your favorite daytime sports talk show here on Game Plus and WQEE. Lot of football in hour one, a lot of NFL and CFL. We had Dan Rashovich with us, which we can say, former Los Angeles Raider linebacker, 16 seasons in the Canadian Football League, and Montreal Alouettes quarterback Cody Fajardo was with us. We're switching gears here in hour two. We're going to look ahead to tonight's NHL games and talk about a variety of other things. We welcome to the program our Director of Officiating, Taylor Shire, global television alum, a man who can do many things. Taylor, welcome back to the RP Show. How are you?
Good, Roddy. I think, I don't know, what number are you at now?
940.
940. I think I was like early double digits, maybe my first time.
In the double digits.
Maybe even the not early single digits, but late single digits into the early double digits. So.
He goes back a long ways on the program. And so the longtime viewers will know, but maybe we need to reintroduce you. You know we have our Director of Scouting, Craig Smith. He's a regular. We haven't had you as regularly, but he's our Director of Officiating. You handle all officiating-related hockey questions.
That's right.
You're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't know if other people are, but...
You look like a referee, and I don't know if that's a compliment.
Is that a good thing? I've been called
Has anybody ever told you that?
I've been called worse.
Well, he's a TV guy, too. But your officiating certification, I asked him if he still had it, and you do. You said you're still doing games?
Yeah, I've been busy this season, still working lots of games in the senior hockey circuit.
Yeah, but you've been doing a lot of. You have done a lot of junior games.
Yeah, I've done a lot of junior over the years. Anything from AAA to the youth sports stuff, and then everything else in between. So, it's been fun.
Okay, so now you know who he is if you didn't know before. Now we're going to continue the same fun things. We were talking about Patrick Mahomes chugging a beer last hour, and is he a bad role model? Obviously not. And people that are upset at him for doing that at a parade need to get a life. We're talking about the carousel of players, mainly in sports, but specifically this week in the CFL with free agency going on and fans grumbling they can't buy a jersey anymore because it'll be obsolete. That dovetailed into a discussion of do you have a jersey that means a lot to you? I'll put that to you.
You know what? It's fitting. I actually have an Andy Van Helmond NHL referee jersey in a shadow box, signed in my man cave in my basement. So
hell yes.
What's the story?
It was actually gifted from my dad when they moved out of their house. He gifted me this jersey, and I don't know where he originally got it, but I think it was a gift to him once upon a time. So I'm probably one of the only, well, I would say few people in Saskatchewan, maybe even in Canada, that have a signed NHL jersey. That isn't like a family of Vandy or somebody else. So,
well, I think
I have a referee's jersey signed in my basement.
There are probably more referee jerseys out there than you think, but not too many Van Hellemond jerseys. So that is. Was your dad a ref?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what got me into it. So.
Okay. Well. From Argo Fluffy watching in Toronto says, I have jerseys with my own names on it, no matter the sport. Of course, I always lob the questions at other people. I never really answer them myself. I've got a Troy Aikman 8 Cowboys jersey, a Tony Romo 9 Cowboys jersey. I've got a 99 Gretzky orange jersey, which Oilers fans have bitched at me about that it's not era specific. I get a life.
I have a Stu Ford Riders jersey.
Pid.
Number 22. And that was at a time where I was like, okay, you know, who should I get? I was a young fan. I think I was still in high school or university. But I wanted someone that would be around. And I was like, well, local kid, you know, good dude. So I got a Stu Ford
Good
jersey.
for you.
Not many had that, right? Because, you know, in the next year, whoever I would have got probably would have moved on. So, and Stu stayed around for at least a few years.
Jeff Kabilis in Winnipeg tuning in says, people upset that Patrick Mahomes was chugging beer. Those folks are outside shaking their fists at every cloud that passes. Yeah, I now am upset that I spent as much time on it already as I have. But I will ask our audience, please, particularly those in Georgia. I'd like to know what they're saying down there on WQEE. Send us a note, 902-518-3033. What is your all-time jersey? Craig Campbell has checked in from the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. Craig's watching. He says, the Hockey Hall of Fame has a few hockey sweaters. Listen.
A few.
Taylor, I have the Regina Pats Outdoor Classic jersey, which was not easy to get.
Yeah.
And I have a Moose Jaw Warriors, the old stylized native headdress jersey, because that was going to become obsolete. Craig asked me for them. He's like, would you consider donating those to the Hockey Hall of Fame? I was, how about no?
How about that?
I paid a lot of money for these jerseys. Would you part with your Andy Van Hellemond jersey?
For the right price, but probably not. Everything has a price, but
these jerseys mean a lot to us. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do this. I don't have my Bet Regal rowboat right now, but let's get serious about the great sport of hockey. My NHL top 5, bottom 5. I may do it again later, but we're going to do it right now. For our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal, we do it every week. My top 5, bottom 5 teams in the National Hockey League. And here we go. Number 1, if you're ready, it's the Boston Bruins. It's undebatable. By far number 1. They're probably Stanley Cup bound. Number 2, if you can believe, the Toronto Maple Leafs. They had a very good practice last night against the Chicago Blackhawks. Number 3, the Winnipeg Jets. Before you argue, I got them making the Final Four in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Conference final, the Winnipeg Jets. Number 4, the Vegas Golden Knights, Canada's team. They're playing a heavy game just in time, rounding into form. And number 5, the Carolina Hurricanes. They're actually number 2 overall with 78 points, and number 78 points is 78 points. So number 5, Carolina. Now the bottom 5 teams, just as fun. 28th in my rankings, the San Jose Sharks. They are hanging on for now, but the Erik Karlsson trade probably the biggest in franchise history. 29th team in the NHL is the Vancouver Canucks. Losers of 3 in a row. Need I say more? 29th team in the NHL. Sorry, the 30th team is the Anaheim Ducks. Losers of 3 in a row. Need I say more? The 31st team's the Chicago Blackhawks. They look like they're not even trying. And the worst team in the NHL's number 32, the Columbus Blue Jackets. They aren't even trying. They don't care. There's your top 5, bottom 5 in the National Hockey League. Please discuss amongst yourselves. Now, as our ordained hockey official here, Taylor is. You're a Montreal Canadiens fan. Are you offended that Montreal did not make my bottom 5?
Yeah, maybe they should be. Maybe the 5th team on there, but I would have to agree with all of your bottom 5. I mean, Arizona could slide in there. But the top 5, I think I have a few debates on that. I think Dallas and Edmonton should probably be higher.
Wow. Well, I had Edmonton last week.
Okay, but Dallas, I think based on their playoff experience the last couple of years, they're going to make some noise in the playoffs, especially if they get good goaltending again. I think they're just a deep team. And Edmonton, if they can get goaltending, they're going to build on that playoff experience similar to Dallas. And I think they'll make a run out of the West this year, which is the West is kind of wide open. The East, it's going to go through Boston. I think we know that. I think Boston could take up the top 5 spots all to themselves. They're sort of tier 1, and then everybody else is in kind of tier 2, like the Carolinas and the Torontos in the East. And then the West, I think, like I said, it's wide open. I think there's, 10 points that separates the first, 8 or 9 spots?
Yes.
It's close anyway, so it's kind of anyone's, but I still think Dallas is the team that's going to come out on top in the West, so they would be my betting favorite right now.
I invite the audience to continue with their comments on their all-time favorite jerseys and what they have and what their prized possessions are. Continue that. But we're going to roll here with the NHL talk, and with this trade deadline coming up in March, it's impossible to predict. I want to go back, and I didn't have the time this morning to do it, but look at last year's trade deadline and what it meant. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To teams.
Yeah.
You can't predict who's going to make a splash. If it ends up being Erik Karlsson to Edmonton, do you think this is just fake news, or do you think it could actually happen?
Edmonton's going to do something. I think their window is closing, and they know they need a defenseman, an elite defenseman that can kind of overhaul the defense. So whether it's Karlsson, whether it's they can offer the right price for him, I think there's obviously, if there's smoke, there's fire, right? Is that the classic saying? So something's going to happen, whether it's Karlsson or not. I'm sure it's being discussed.
What's fun about this top 5, bottom 5, and we do it every week, is that it does change. And I had Edmonton in the top 5 last week. We don't really know who's going to come out of it. I mean, and again, Colorado, Tampa made it last year. Some people had them predicted from the jump. Were they your Stanley Cup favorites last year? Do you recall?
Yeah, I think they were everybody's. It was sort of almost easy, not easy to predict, but they were the clear 2 favorites, I believe, earlier on in the year. I don't remember who I had. I probably had Montreal, but.
Well, my point is, Colorado won it. Do you remember them making some huge splash at the trade deadline? You know what I mean?
They picked up Arturi Lehkonen from the Habs, and that was, one of the best free agent or trade deadline acquisitions, because he was this sort of middle 6 forward that could kind of play up in the top 6 or play down on the bottom 6 and kind of do everything for them. And I think he was a kind of an undervalued performer for them in the playoffs.
Jen checking in from the Four Seasons. She says Erik Karlsson is too expensive for a guy that's on the downside of his career. Sorry. Rich in Edmonton says the Karlsson numbers don't work for the Caps. San Jose would never agree to retain $4 million. Obviously, you weren't watching the other day when Craig Button was on here and said very easily, this is what you do. Tyson Barrie, Jesse Puljujärvi, beep, to San Jose. I think his figure was $3.5 million, and then throw in the draft picks that San Jose will covet. Now, I see people are loving the discussion here because we are a hockey-first country. Do you believe, as I stated, that the Erik Karlsson trade will be the biggest in San Jose Sharks history? I can't think of any other bigger. In terms of importance, I don't mean numbers of players.
For San Jose?
Yeah.
Or just the biggest noise?
For them. For San Jose, this should set them up.
Should set them up. Did Joe Thornton get traded?
Yeah, we'll have to go to the big board.
Where did he sign?
Maybe it's because they're San Jose and they're so far away. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a trade involving anybody with the San Jose Sharks that would have this importance for them. And by the way, Jen, when you say that he's on the downside of his career, perhaps, but I go back to that Craig Button interview, he feels that Erik Karlsson's been the second best player in the National Hockey League this year to Connor McDavid. And he's had a hell of a year.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be on the upside of his career to make an impact in the next year or two, right? Maybe that's all it is. The window's open right now for Edmonton, and it's closing quickly. They don't need Erik Karlsson for the next 10 years. They need him for the next 2, 3, if that, 1. right? He can be a rental, and if he's having his best season in recent memory, then he's going to be a pretty good rental for them to make noise in the playoffs.
We're based for a good chunk of the year in Western Canada, so we talk a lot about Western Canadian teams, of course, but your team is the Montreal Canadiens, Bleu Blanc Rouge. And we have a lot of viewers in Eastern Canada, even into the Maritimes, huge Habs fans out there. Where are you on what's going on in Montreal? I'm dying to know.
It's frustrating because they're just sort of treading water. They're not sinking. They're not swimming. They're just kind of right in the middle. So I would like them for them to be in the Bedard sweepstakes, tanking, because they're not going to make the playoffs. So at what point do you just kind of throw in the towel? And I mean, the players, nobody's going to want to lose, and nobody can actually tank nowadays. I mean, unless you're Columbus. But other than that, I think Montreal, I think they'll still get a top, say, 5 or 6 pick when the draft rolls around. I don't think it'll be Bedard, but they'll still get a top 6 pick, and that'll, add another prospect to their already talented pool. I think they have a really good, solid, young core right now. Caden Gooley, Nick Suzuki, Caulfield, and they'll have to re-sign him, and that'll cost a few bucks. But, they have a lot of good young defensemen. They still need to figure out their goaltending situation. What is Carey Price going to do? Is Jake Allen going to, become sort of that number one goalie or are they going to trade him out, right? There's a lot of different options, but I still think in 3 years, when Gooley, Suzuki, Caulfield, even Gallagher will still be there. If they keep Josh Anderson, guys like that, they're going to be back into the playoffs. They're going to be a good team. They're going to be, I'll say, top 5, a top 5 team in the East in 3 to 5 years.
So you're happy with where they are?
Yeah, I'm optimistic that they're trending up now. They're not necessarily rebuilding. They're just developing right now. And I think good things will come in the next couple of years.
So from our viewers, this is a lot of fun from the audience. Daryl in Edmonton says, imagine last night's 3-on-3 overtime. McDavid, Draisaitl, Carlson. It's not a bad 3 to throw over the boards. From Kirk, Patrick Kane to the Oilers is a good consolation prize if they can't get Carlson. From Corey, he says the Chicago Blackhawks are already selling Bedard jerseys. LOL. We'll talk about the Bedard phenomenon, more hockey with our director of officiating, Taylor Shire, and any officiating-related questions. Today's the day to get them out. And what's your most prized jersey in your closet, too, by the way? I find that a fun discussion to have. We'll be right back. We're live from Ballers Rec Room. We're on Game Plus Television, your favorite podcast platform, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
It's the RP Show. We're live from Ballers Rec Room, Saskatchewan's newest entertainment destination. It is awesome. Batting cages, simulators, the whole thing. Right in the heart of the duty strip. By the way, before we bring Taylor Shire back in, the poll question today. I should have made way more of this than I have. It's the Stanley Cup final of our jersey bracket, our retro reverse jersey bracket. It's brought to you by Capital Auto Mall. They have dealerships all across the Canadian prairies and the state of California and Universal Collision Center. Here it is, boys. They've got it. Representing the Western Conference, the Los Angeles Kings. Representing the NHL's Eastern Conference, the Buffalo Sabres. And I have not looked. Of course, I would just think about it now. What do we have on YouTube, Clark? Who's leading this thing? I'm 65% for the Los Angeles Kings.
How about
I'm just
that?
rot with anxiety because I love that Kings jersey so much, and they're coming. Maybe I've been selling it to the voters and audience. I don't know. On Twitter, 64% say the LA Kings. They may win this whole blinking thing. The Los Angeles Kings over the Buffalo Sabres. Our director of officiating, Taylor Shire, good enough to come down and join us today, and as always, it's going real fast. Do you have a vote on that?
For sure, the Kings. I would like to see the full attire, the full ensemble with the pant shells and the socks and even the helmets, you know, whether it's the shiny purple helmet or the sort of matte purple. I think my vote would go to
Your vote's the Kings?
Yeah.
Now, how are you on the Montreal Canadiens retro reverse this year?
They're fine. They're okay. I still think the classic retro jersey with the white and the blue stripes, they wore those for the Winter Classic quite a few years ago when they unveiled them. That's still the best retro jersey in my opinion. But
did they ever have did they win? Somebody wrote in here earlier now, did they win in those baby blues this year? Because they were
No idea.
They were pitching a shutout, a no-hitter against themselves, the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, earlier in the year they were 0 for something. Yeah, it was.
I don't believe they have.
No.
Regarding your best jersey in your closet or your most prized possession, Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba, writes in, he's watching on Game Plus TV, the 902 line, and he says, "Hi, Rod, I have a number 23 on the front, number 34 on the back of my Rider jersey. No explanation needed." That's regarding the Little General and the G unit.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
No, me either.
Of a football jersey with both. Huh.
Here's one. I was writing this in my weekend column. There's a disturbing trend in Florida with the hockey. Kids are coming to the Panthers games with their jerseys on backwards. And not just Panthers fans. It was the night against Boston that I really noticed it. There was Marchand jerseys backwards and Pasternak and obviously Barkov, Kachuk. I have a major problem with that.
What's the reasoning?
Put your jersey right. Like my dad saying, don't wear your hat back. What's their reasoning?
Yeah.
Or my reasoning?
Theirs.
They want to show who they're repping.
Oh, really?
you think that's as silly as I do?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's almost like they just don't. That's weird. Yeah.
It's very weird. Yeah. Bradley is watching in Comox, BC on Game Plus TV, and he says, I have a game-worn Moose Jaw Warriors Kelly Buckberger jersey. Not autographed yet. Oh, man, we got to get that thing autographed. I don't think Bucky's with Tri-City anymore, but he was coaching the Tri-City Americans on their way through Victoria. We could have hooked that thing up. But I will say this, one wonderful thing about where we are, and you wouldn't appreciate this, Taylor, because I didn't until I left. I got friends in Florida that say, you're so lucky in Saskatchewan, you can watch hockey every single night. And I'm like, well, yeah.
So?
Right?
That's what I'll say. So?
Yeah. But they're like, we don't have major, junior, junior A, junior B, university, college, top flight hockey. They don't. We just take it for granted. And the reason I bring that up, I was at a game in Estevan on Friday night, and there was a Buckberger playing. There was a Bedard playing. There was a Getzlaff playing. And, of course, we're buzzing around are they related? Are they related? I don't know what it is, but it is a wonderful thing. It's a hockey buffet, really all across Canada, but specifically here. Do you have a take on this? Our director of scouting, Craig Smith says, what do the Winnipeg Jets need here at the trade deadline? I don't have a... What are they going to get that's going to put them over the top ahead of the Dallas Stars?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have an answer to that?
And I don't know what draft picks and what their prospect pool looks like, what they have, if they have enough to give up to make a splash without trading away, a key forward, which you don't want to do if you want to make a run, or a key defenseman. What is their prospect pool, or how many draft picks do they have coming up? So I can't really offer any opinion on that unless I saw their prospect pool.
By the way, Jenna, watching in Southern California, writes in, let's go, Buffalo. I give her credit, man. I chastised her. Started watching this show, and she cheers for the Buffalo Sabres and the Ottawa Red Blacks the last couple of years. I'm like, you are a sucker for punishment. And look what Buffalo's doing, man. Tage Thompson scored his 36th last night. That guy's from Phoenix.
Yeah, he
came out of nowhere.
He's unbelievable. He's such a unique player with his size and his hands. It's something to see.
A freak. And it's unfortunate that he was injured for NHL All-Star Week, because I was looking forward to watching him and by chance meeting him, and he wasn't even there. But speaking of great players, there was a comment come in here from Nick earlier, and see if I can find it. But Nick said, great show, Rod. Here it is. Nick says, great interviews, Rod, especially Cody Fajardo, class act. Please get the greatest talent to hit the WHL ever on the show, Connor Bedard. Well, we've had him multiple times. Clark knows, because Clark does that, beginning when Connor was 14 years of age. Taylor's been working in the media here. He's been working in the agency world, hockey agents. This Connor Bedard thing, can you explain to people the hysteria? Because it's outright hysteria.
I think I'm actually surprised kind of how long it took for people to, in Regina anyway, to sort of catch the hype, I guess. At the start of the year, the Brandt Center wasn't really even selling out. But then when Bedard started going on the road, he was selling out rinks all across Western Canada, especially back in BC. And then after the World Juniors, I think it's went from like hype to like full-blown hysteria.
Ridiculous
hysteria. Every rink is selling out that he plays in, and everyone's trying to get a glimpse of just essentially watching him, right? It's, you're not going to watch the Pats and the Warriors on a Saturday. You're going to watch Bedard. And that's what it's going to be for the next couple of months, I guess. But yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And yeah, being in the media when he was granted exceptional status, and when he was drafted by the Pats, I think there was a lot of hype, and we really didn't know what was going to happen. But then when the season got canceled, they went into the bubble. I think it sort of completely burst the bubble on a lot of the plans that the Pats had to unveil him, and you could have no fans, and he was absolutely dominant in the bubble in his first season as a 15-year-old, but playing against the same teams every night with no fans, it was just sort of, I felt like it just kind of like was a letdown and a disappointment, although he was still, better than most 19 and 20-year-olds in that entire bubble.
Well, I don't necessarily blame the Pats themselves.
It's nobody's fault for that.
You're
right?
not blaming them.
No, not at all. No, it's nobody's fault for that. No, they've marketed him fine and everything.
It's just the way people are.
It's just the way people are, yeah.
COVID screwed up a lot of things, right? And but
that was one of them for sure.
The other day, I was speaking to a corporate event, 300 managers from Viterra, a multinational grain marketing company. You're familiar with them. And some question from the crowd said, Rod, are you wishing that you were calling Bedard's games? And I said, I did, in the bubble. When you say they couldn't allow fans in, they couldn't, but I had the good fortune of broadcasting every single game, all games on regional television. People were watching then. Why it took them so long to come out, and you made a good point here. They were selling out the Pats on the road in Alberta and BC before they were here. Explain that one. You can't explain it. But I was begging people last fall, saying, come out and watch Cody Fajardo and Connor Bedard. Actually, it was in August, now that I think about it. Bedard was playing with Team Canada, and the Riders were in Edmonton with Cody Fajardo. I'm like, we have two superstars right under our nose. Wake up. And for whatever reason, you dealt with Cody Fajardo too, on a daily basis. Yep. Explain to people what that was like.
He was great to deal with.
Of course.
And I think how everything was handled, I'm sort of disappointed. Being a fan now, I'm kind of out of the media, so I'm back to being a Rider fan. I think, I'm a Fajardo fan no matter what, and I think how that situation was handled is disappointing because he was the face of the franchise, and a lot of the blame from last year got put on him, and I don't think that was deserving. He didn't have an offensive line, and he was hurt, right? Give him time to rest that hurt knee. Give him a better offensive line. That season's going to be totally different. It's going to be back to 2019. They had everything, most of the other pieces in place, if they have, aside from the offensive line. So, I am disappointed how that handled, or how that got handled, because I think he was a guy that would have stayed his entire career here. Probably would have put roots down after and sort of developed into one of the most recognizable alumni and one of the most involved alumni. But like I said, how it got handled, I think it's disappointing for everybody.
We were close to Bedard-level hysteria with Fajardo. You were around.
Yep.
Like with Dan Rashovich sat here an hour ago, and we were like, that was fast. Fall from grace, right? Step back for a second. You mentioned you're not in the media anymore. How much are you enjoying the freedom of being able to say what you think?
It's quite nice.
Yes.
Yeah, just to sort of not have not that I, in my old role, needed to have, I didn't need to hold back at all necessarily, but it is nice to be a fan again, to be able to go to a game and cheer, not sit in the press box necessarily. Been to quite a few Pats games this year and just sitting with a beer and popcorn down in the stands, whether it's with my kids or taking my nephews to the games. It's just been fun to sort of bring back to my roots, because when you become a sportscaster, you hand in your fan card. You say, here, I'm not a fan anymore.
You have to.
Here's my fan card. You can't cheer. You don't wear the jerseys to games. You don't stand up and cheer. And I did that for 10 years, and so I really wasn't a sports fan for 10 years. It's this last year and a bit. It's been nice to get that back and to sort of have that passion of just being a sports fan again.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I can tell that you're enjoying it. From our director of scouting, Craig Smith, he says, I was surprised the Pats didn't sell out before to see Bedard. It is what it is. That was then, this is now, and they are selling out. And as I said, for those that just tuned in, you are an ordained hockey official, and we have a lot of hockey viewers watching all across Canada. Your assessment, please, of Connor Bedard as a player.
I don't think I have anything that I can say that hasn't already been said about him. He's extraordinary, exceptional, just probably a generational talent. I don't think we will ever see a better junior hockey player in my lifetime that'll come through these parts, and not just on Regina, but through the Western Hockey League. I honestly don't think another player will live up to his standard of play in my lifetime anyway, unless something crazy happens. And with the way kids are training nowadays, maybe that's true, but I just can't see it. So I'll go backwards and say I haven't seen a player close to how good he is at his age.
You've been around
at his age too, right? You have to remember that.
17.
Yeah.
You've been around. You've interviewed him, that kind of thing. Because when he was 15, and I was saying the next Sidney Crosby, the next Connor McDavid, people are going, don't put too much pressure on him. I'm like, he can handle it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Do you think he will be that?
Yeah, no, I think he's going to be. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be McDavid, but I still think he's going to be, say, a top 5 NHL scorer within 5 years. I still think he'll put 50 goals up by year 4 or 5, given the right opportunity, playing with the right line mates in the right situation. And I think whoever drafts him will have to make sure that he's supported in that way. I think Bedard has a really good family, agent, support system situation around him where he's supported by a lot of really good people. He's got a really good head on his shoulders. I don't think I've ever met a 15-year-old way back when that is, that composed, that mature, given the situation and the understanding of the situation. And I think he puts a lot of pressure on himself. So we can put pressure on him to, is he going to live up to this? But I think ultimately he also puts that pressure on himself to keep putting in the work and keep showing up every day when no one's watching, to put in that work to get to that next level. So I think he's well on his way, and I think he's going to be a generational NHL player when he does finally make it.
A viewer wrote in here earlier and asked who Connor Bedard's agent is. If I'm not mistaken, Jerry Johansson Sports Corp. Is it not?
He's with the Don Meehan.
Was Don Meehan's group?
Yeah, Don Meehan's group.
Okay, well, there you go.
He was anyway. I don't imagine he's changed. But
okay. Donnie Meehan.
Yeah.
There you go. Taylor, this has been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Appreciate you coming down.
Thanks for having me anytime.
You never know, we might ask again. Thank you.
Of course.
Our director of officiating, Taylor Shire. Has Josh logged in, Clark? He's just settling in. Okay, we'll take a timeout and be right back with the voice of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Josh Getzoff, after this. You're watching the RP Show live on the Game Plus TV network. We're live streaming on YouTube and on the radio, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. Take advantage of up to $7,000 in discounts on all remaining new 2022 F-150s. And rates are as low as 1.99% OAC. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, it is the RP Show. We're live on Game Plus TV, as you know, WQEE, and this hour has morphed into a lot of hockey talk, which people have been loving. What do we got? 3, 6, 8 games in the National Hockey League tonight. The Pittsburgh Penguins are not playing, but they're coming off a West Coast road trip, and Josh Getzoff is the voice of the Pittsburgh Penguins. He returns to the RP Show today on probably an off day for the team, but not for him. Josh, welcome, man. Appreciate the time. How was that Western roadie for you guys?
It was a mixed bag, Rod, and that's probably the best way to describe this Penguins season so far. They've been, to a man, and everyone's admitted it, really inconsistent. And that was probably not on display any more so than the first 2 games of that road trip, the back-to-back in Southern California, where you really have a strong performance. You know, opponent aside, I know Anaheim's at the bottom of the league, but everything the Penguins did in that game is a lot of the stuff that Mike Sullivan's been harping on wanting to see more from when it came to his team on a nightly basis. Casey DeSmith was awesome, and they beat the Ducks pretty soundly, 6-3. It probably could have been worse, honestly, if not for John Gibson that night. And then you go in the next night to Los Angeles, obviously a much better opponent, but a test for the Penguins to see if they could replicate that performance the night before. And you just get throttled 6-0. So I think that that's kind of how this season has gone. It's been, you know, every night has been a little unpredictable as far as which Penguins team you're going to get, but they've stayed in the mix. They were able to salvage it on the heels of another great Casey DeSmith performance in San Jose on Tuesday night, and we'll see if they can find a way to some more points in a showdown here tomorrow against the Islanders.
Well, that's a huge one, and I'm wondering, I hesitate, as a play-by-play guy here for 20 seasons in hockey and football, I know it's a tough question to answer, what your team's going to do at the trade deadline, because we don't know. Yet, you know, the Islanders go and get Bo Horvat. It's been mixed results since they have. But do the Penguins need something to sort of catapult them into the playoffs, in your mind, or are they happy with what they have?
I think they absolutely need something, Rod. And I mean, you look around the Metro Division, the Rangers get Tarasenko, the Islanders get Horvat. I don't think it's too long before the New Jersey Devils make a move. You know the Carolina Hurricanes are going to do something now with Max Pacioretty on long-term injured reserve again. They have that cap space to work with. So I think the Penguins have to do something. And if they don't, they're going to potentially pay a pretty disastrous price in the sense of maybe not making the postseason for the first time in 16 years. So they're right on the verge of it, as we know. I think that there's a couple question marks as it pertains to how they would approach the trade deadline, namely Tristan Jarry. I can tell you today the team did practice in Pittsburgh today, and Tristan did not practice. He hasn't played for almost 3 weeks now. In my mind, all due respect to Sidney Crosby and the season he's having, Tristan Jarry is the Penguins MVP, and I think that's been proven with him out of the lineup. There's something like 16-5-5 when he plays, and their record's a lot more lopsided when he doesn't. And in this showdown coming up against the Islanders, it's still up in the air whether or not he's going to be available. Then you play the Devils right back in Pittsburgh on Saturday night. So I think that there's a big question mark as it pertains to the goaltending for the Penguins. And if Tristan Jarry is not healthy and not able to play, to me that dramatically alters the team going down the stretch run here, because then all of a sudden it's, do you want to look at the goaltending market as opposed to maybe, did you want to add another defenseman? Did you want to add some depth scoring? It makes things a little more complicated for Ron Hextall and Brian Burke. And I think that because of that, 8 games till the deadline, Tristan Jarry's status is paramount as far as what the Penguins do next.
Great answer. And isn't it interesting, by the way, the Penguins are a good team. You talk about the up and down. The hockey people that I'm around are like, they almost beat the Rangers last year, a team that went to the conference final, and then you go into the offseason, you don't know if Jenny Malkin's going to resign or not, and then he does. It seems like there's, like, anxiety medication must be flying off the shelves in Pittsburgh, right? Because it's like nobody's ever calm there.
Yeah, they love to ride the wave of emotion, Rod. I don't think there's any question about that. And you're right. I mean, let's be honest. They lose Sidney Crosby in Game 5 in that series when they're up 2-0. Say what you want about the hit by Trouba. It altered the series. Whether you think it was legal or not, it altered the series. They didn't have Ricard Raquel from Game 1 on. They didn't have Tristan Jarry at all. They lost Casey DeSmith in Game 1. There was a lot of curveballs thrown their way, and they still came within a goal of advancing back to the second round for the first time in a handful of years. So, I think that when I looked at this offseason, Rod, you mentioned Evgeny Malkin. When the Penguins signed Evgeny Malkin, when they signed Chris Letang, when they re-signed Brian Rust, when they re-signed Ricard Raquel, they basically said and gave validation to what I just said, that if all those injuries didn't happen against the Rangers last year, who knows what happens last spring and who knows how far this team goes. Now, I think the Penguins haven't necessarily paid it forward on that front so far. I think that they could be better to a man this season. And the guys that I mentioned, that's the ironic thing. They're not the issue. Sid's having an awesome year. Gino's a point-per-game player. Brian Rust has been very solid. Ricard Raquel's been one of the Penguins' most consistent forwards and leads the team in shots. It's those guys deeper in the lineup that have really fallen off, and that's what's hurt them because you know the deal. When these teams that are in the Stanley Cup final, when these teams that are contending to win the Stanley Cup are playing at their best, sometimes it's the guys like McKinnon or Makar or Landeskog or, even going back to Tampa with Braden Point and Stamkos, when they don't have a night where they're on the score sheet, it's those depth guys that come through and have big nights. Like think about Darren Helm last year for the Avalanche and Andrew Cogliano. And before them, it was the Blake Coleman line in Tampa that really ran roughshod in the postseason. Penguins don't have that right now, and that's why I think this whole thing with Tristan Jarry is really weak, because easy answer is they want to address that, but if they don't know if Tristan Jarry is available or he's not available, they kind of have to address that. So that's the problem facing Ron Hextall and Brian Burke, and that is, as you put it, why the anxiety medication continues to fly off the shelves here in Pittsburgh.
Well, it's fun to watch from out here. I can't imagine it's a lot of fun on the inside, but it's what a race. And I'll just lastly say this in the minute or so that we have left. When did you realize it's hammer down time? Like the rest of the way, it's playoff hockey. Does it feel that way?
Absolutely, and that's, let's be honest, that's a little unique for the Penguins. Not that they've not been trying to tune themselves up for the postseason, but they've been pretty solidly in the playoff picture for the better part of the last decade, going into the final 25, 20 games of the regular season. That won't be the case this year. Even if they do have a lot of success in this back-to-back against the Islanders and the Devils, they still have a lot to be decided as far as where they're going to finish and if they'll finish in the playoff picture coming down the stretch run here. But I agree with you. I think really coming out of the All-Star break, that first game against the Avalanche was when it kind of set in for me that, okay, you got about 31 games to go, 32 games to go, and every single one of these is going to matter. And you need to find a way to get points in every one of them. And to their credit, it hasn't always been beautiful, but coming out of the All-Star break, they've won 4 or 5. So they've started strong. And now it's an opportunity here with these big Metro matchups, and really none bigger than that Islander game tomorrow night, who's right behind you in the standings, and it's in their barn. And they whooped you the last time you were there, 5-1 right after Christmas. So I think that has a lot of intrigue, and I'm excited. I mean, I get excited for every game, but I'm really excited for tomorrow night because the Isles and Penguins have a bit of a history here recently, and it should be a fun one.
Of course, and we'll be tuned in. Josh, thanks for the insight. You do a great job. I appreciate it, and good luck here the rest of the way.
Rod, means a lot. Thank you, and look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Thank you. Josh Getzoff, the voice of the Pittsburgh Penguins. When we return, a sports update in overtime and viewer takeover. It's the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network. We're live streaming on YouTube, of course, and on your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad. Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show. Official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. Great news, factory credits are back. That means massive savings on every new vehicle. We have over 100 GMC Sierras available, and they're all priced to move. Looking for a used vehicle? You gotta check out our all makes, all models, GM certified pre-owned inventory. Plus, don't pay for 90 days on all new and used vehicles. There's never been a better time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. CapitalGMC.ca.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. It's overtime, proudly presented by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the National Hockey League and the UFC. And we do this viewer takeover thing I was telling you about. Ryan in Toronto writes in and says, fantastic show today, RP and crew. Hey, Clark, should we tell DuPont? The best shows are when he's not here. Kidding. He's tuned in from PEI. I know that. We're live, of course, from Ballers Rec Room for one more day, and then we'll be broadcasting live from IKS World Headquarters next week here in the Sweatpants capital. Hey, if we're going to call it viewer takeover, we got to be true to our word. Arlen Bruce is checked in from Vancouver, AB3. CFL great. He says, I'm sorry to let all non-Chiefs fans know we are a flippin' dynasty. Been dynasty destined since Arrowhead was built. Great show, RP. Black History Month has 12 days left. People chiming in and agreeing with them. Sorry, AB. 2 championships don't spell a dynasty. I don't care the era. I don't care the league. I don't care the team. You win 1 more, it'll be a dynasty. Shoot, there's some that say you got to win 3 in a row. I'm not that big of a hard ass. But it's got to be 3, not 2. Otherwise, no, it's just not 2. I remember the Tampa Bay Lightning last year, Steven Stamkos in particular, the Lightning captain, saying when they were going after their 3rd consecutive Stanley Cup that they wouldn't be taken seriously until it was a 3rd championship. And if we have to agree to disagree, that's fine. Where is the comment? It was a really good. Here it is. John in Vancouver. He's watching on Channel 924. TELUS Cable on Game Plus. He says, a long time since I've been able to see the show live from pillar to post. Always rejuvenating and mindful of your talents that makes it happen. Congrats on show number 940. He's always been so darn good to us.
How about
John O'Flynn. I should get his name right, probably. From Ryan O'Radio, Noonan, Georgia. He says, as always, another great show, RP show. Thank you, Ryan O'Radio from Rod O'Radio. Tune in every morning to the Radio Penitentiary. It's just as much fun as it sounds with Ryan O'Radio here on WQEE. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, unfortunately, I missed more than half of today's RP show, but what I saw, I loved. We missed you on Tuesday here, the opening day of free agency. Wayne, don't think I didn't notice you weren't around. We're paying attention, had roll call. Sports update on this Thursday. A who's who of Canadian women's curling, including 2 skips chasing history, will open play Friday at the 2023 Scotties Tournament of Hearts at the Sandman Center in Kamloops. Jennifer Jones and her new-look Manitoba team from Winnipeg and Altona won't play their first game until Saturday afternoon against 2022 silver medalist team Krista McCarville of Northern Ontario. While Carrie Anderson's 3-time defending champion Team Canada crew from Gimli, Manitoba will be in the opening draw Friday at 6 p.m. against Quebec's team Laurie St. George. All draws will be on TSN. Speaking of en français, the Montreal Alliance of the Canadian Elite Basketball League announced Wednesday that Derek Alston Sr. has been named the 2nd head coach in franchise history, an assistant coach with the College Park Skyhawks, NBA G League affiliate of the Atlanta Hawks. Since 2022, Alston Sr. spent the previous 7 seasons with the Westchester Knicks. This sports update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas in theaters now. A Man Called Otto, based on the comical and moving #1 New York Times bestseller, A Man Called Otto, stars Tom Hanks as grumpy widower Otto Anderson. Go check it out. Take my word for it at your local Landmark Cinemas. 902-518-33 is the number to reach us here. Boy, I don't know what it is. Everybody's in a real great congratulatory mood. Ron Thompson writing in from Calgary. Awesome show, as usual. Thank you, Ron. And he's watching on Game Plus, Channel 924 on your TELUS cable. Regarding Connor Bedard, Randy in Strasbourg, home of Nick Schultz, former Minnesota Wild defenseman, he writes in and says, Connor Bedard, regarding the slower take-up in Regina, to be fair, most ticket prices in other cities not as expensive as they are in Regina, I believe. Oh, we're hearing the ticket prices argument. And by the way, I'm not scoffing at anybody, but I was there Saturday night, 6,499. Potentially the largest attendance in Regina Pat's history. Nobody was bitching about ticket prices. It wasn't until the World Juniors when Connor Bedard became Connor Bedard that the ticket prices didn't matter after that. Phil in Dauphin, Manitoba, watching on Game Plus. Good day. My prized possession is a picture of me and Barry Trotz with a Stanley Cup meet and greet 2018. I myself was like Patrick Mahomes. But an awesome day. Just talking to Barry and drinking out of the cup. You're saying, why are we talking about that? Well, we're way back at the start of the show, and incidentally, it has gone by fast, but, you know, I shouldn't even have brought it up. People looking down their nose at Patrick Mahomes, if you will, for chugging a beer and being completely mangled. Last minute of play in the RP show. Being completely mangled at their parade. Never once did I have a problem with that, and none of my circle has had a problem with that. Well, we know a little bit about celebrating. There's young people watching this. Sends a bad message. No, what it's telling young people is work hard, work your ass off to win something, and then you can do whatever the hell you want. I've been saying that since Chris Streveler was, you know, carrying 2 six-packs. One under his fur coat and one in his hand, smoking a cigar, wearing a cowboy hat in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers Grey Cup party. Parade. And by the way, do what you want. He's not hurting anybody. Mind your business. From AB3. Arlen Bruce, you are actually correct, Rod. We need one more championship to be labeled a dynasty. I respect that, fam. See you tomorrow for a Football Friday. AB, you better be here. We expect to see you. Noon Eastern, right here.
Who has more fun than us?